I'm Doug Loretano.
And I'm Alicia Borsa.
We just got out of a lively discussion in the town hall about beyond audience, how context can drive outcomes and performance for both publishers and marketers.
I think we actually had a really good cross-section too. It was a combination of marketers, agencies, and publishers providing their perspective. So it was interesting too, we set it off that this wasn't just about audience versus context, but really how they both provide a lot of value. And that context, I think it was unanimous around the room that we're sort of underestimating the value of context and that it still is really important. And we have to make sure that we take advantage of context.
For sure. I think one of the things that we heard from multiple people was that in the rise of digital, kind of some of the big players really were focused on eyeballs because they didn't create or own content. And that kind of drove the discussion to be a bit lively around how we move forward. But we did talk about the value of audience and context together to drive outcomes for marketers, and how Lysiad Meredith really uses that to have insights into her own business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, context is key for us, right? And I think for publishers, consumers come to us with needs and wants, and we're satisfying those needs and wants with highly contextual content and experiences. And that's a great opportunity for our advertising partners to reach those consumers and influence them and drive them to action. So it's really, really powerful. I think, we talked a lot about that, the challenges. There were a lot of questions that were asked of the agency representatives in how they were making their decisions and how they valued context versus audience. And I think that they also acknowledged that context was really important to them, so is audience, but it depends on the KPI and the objectives. But they also put the onus back on those of us who actually have the context to make it easier and more scalable for them to execute against, particularly in a programmatic environment. So I thought that was really useful too as a publisher to get that feedback that they'll use it more, but we need to make it easier and scalable for them. And so it's that fine balance.
Yep. Yeah, and I think broadly people told us that they didn't think that contextual targeting and different ways that technology can be used to understand context was robust enough at this point. And then hopefully as a platform, Media.net is trying to help that. So I think if technology, content owners could come together, I think maybe we could move the industry forward towards, or move the industry back to caring more about context like they did in the more traditional media days. Yeah,
and we also talked about just the, with everything that's happening around consumer privacy, there's a pushback on audience data and the quality of audience data and the transparency of audience data. So making sure that we're not overly reliant on that and we truly are coming back and valuing the context as it should be.
Sure. So, hopefully we moved the conversation forward. And I think that some real good will come out of this, and we'll continue to kind of push the envelope.
Absolutely. Absolutely.